it's hard to make light of a situation like that because, during the course of that game, there were some times I really thought, I really thought both lines of scrimmage were controlled by us. When we got in that second quarter, I was really pleased. I mean, we were playing with momentum, we were playing with effort and enthusiasm, and there was a great, look in their eye. And you come out there in the third quarter, and I mean, within a blink of an eye, it's out of hand. And I just it's disappointing, to tell you the truth, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you we got a good football team, because right now we've got a lot of problems. We've got a lot of problems we've got to take care of. I'll be the first one to tell you that we got a bunch of front runners in there. I mean, it starts with us as coaches, and it starts with them players too. But there's guys in there that think it's going to be very, 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 very easy, and that we have all the answers. But that's not the case. It's pretty evident over the last two games. We've got a lot of doggone questions. We don't have a lot of answers. We got to get out of that mentality. I don't know why it is. We haven't done anything to deserve any of it. I'm very disappointed in the fact that some of them do in there have that attitude. It's tough. When you go out there and you practice, and you think you practice hard, and you think you practice well, and come out here and you're on the other end of a score like that. It's hard to put a finger on right after the game. All I can do is say we're going to go back there and evaluate everyone, and make sure we have the right guys on the field, make sure we have the right coaches making the right calls, and take a good hard look at everything we've done over the last two games, and we've got to improve. We got to improve in a hurry to take on a Charlotte team coming into our place next week. It's a tough pill to swallow right now.
Thanks, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions from members of the media. As a friendly reminder, if you would keep yourself on mute until asking your question, we would greatly appreciate it. You can go ahead at this time.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time tonight. Andrew
Sure.
Freeman,
Thank you.
of course. Andrew Freeman, Georgia State Signal. Sam Howell had 350 passing yards and over 100 rushing yards. Can you just kind of talk about what it's like to plan for a quarterback of his caliber?
Well, there's a reason why, he has the talk of being the top quarterback in college football and being the top pick in the NFL draft. And, it's hard to compete with that guy. But, some of his runs there, was just, he didn't do anything spectacular. We're not containing, and he breaks it. And yeah, he's got some speed and he took it the distance, but we're just out of situational defense right there. We've got assigned calls. Everybody has an assignment, and we're just not playing assignment football. It's a backyard contest that we look like we were doing sometimes out there defensively. And it's crazy to think you can't go out there and play sound. When you play a sound quarterback like him and a sound offensive football team like that, you have to, the number one thing you got to do is play assignment oriented. We don't have a chance. I don't care how great we are or we think we are as a talented defense. If we're not aligned and assigned, we've got no chance to defend. And there were times out there tonight we had no chance to defend.
Coach, it might be tricky to pinpoint any one thing with the offensive performance, but it seemed like every other drive there was a drop from a receiver or an overthrow from the quarterback. It just seemed like they stacked up and that got in the way of some drives progressing at times.
We didn't throw the ball and we didn't catch the ball very well. I thought there was great opportunities to make some very, very big plays down the field, and those were just not there. They just were not there. I'll have to really go back and look at the film and evaluate it, but there's some missed throws, of course, and like you said, there's some drops, and you can't have that. That's elementary. Throwing and catching is something we do every single day. It's something they've been doing since they were very, very young, and for whatever reason, we missed it tonight.
Coach Elliott, Anthony Patterson with the Atlanta Voice newspaper. You talked about passing, and of course, you're going to go back and watch film on the game. But it just seemed, especially early on in the game, you guys were able to pound the football on the ground. I know you guys finished with 181 yards rushing. How would you just evaluate the running game, particularly in the first and early in the second half? Because it seemed to be
Yeah, I mean, I'm it was okay tonight. I mean, like I said, there was times I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage. I wasn't very concerned with their defensive front and what they were going to do, their linebacker position. I thought we could, we were going to gain 4 or 5 yards a clip. So I went for it, so I guess a few times deep in our territory, because I thought we could push them off the ball, and we did for the most part. But when you're playing a team like that, the scoring as quickly as possible, it's hard to just keep doing that. It really is. I thought our protection was good also from the offensive line, and I thought our run game was pretty good. We've got to get much better to control the line of scrimmage, but we're going to certainly do that. But we've got to put it all together. We've got to have a combination of run and pass to be successful offensively. That's what we do. It's who we are, and we've got to improve.
Hey, Coach, Julian Hart of the Signal. Nice to talk to you again,
Yes.
as always. There was, especially after the first quarter, it felt like there was a time where, especially your defense was able to keep the Tar Heels in check, especially when it came to giving the offense a chance at trying to score some more points.
Yeah.
Take me to that point where I believe it's 24-10. And what was it? I mean, I can only imagine how frustrating is it to see, your defense kind of be able to stop a high-powered, or at least contain a high-powered team like the Tar Heels, but not be able to capitalize offensively when you have those opportunities.
Well, I mean, containment is, I guess you can say we contain them for a couple quarters, maybe. It's a struggle. It's got to be a balance. You've got to play. I mean, when you play a talented football team, you've got to have balance. You've got to play well defensively, and you've got to play well offensively. I mean, there's no I guess you could say there's no formula for success with one playing well and one not playing well. We've got to really balance each other out and be consistent. There was times where both sides of the ball, I thought, played well. I mean, there really was. And we're sitting here on the losing end by a wide margin, and you probably say the head coach was crazy, but there was at times we went out there and looked like a very well coached football team and performing at a high level. We just couldn't keep it up. For whatever reason, we could not keep the consistency up. Like I said, it's 24-10 right there at the start of the third quarter. I think they missed the field goal, if I'm not mistaken. We get the ball. We go for it. I can't remember what your other one was. We go for it, convert on 4th and 1. And I'm thinking, all right, here we go. Here we go. And I think on the next 2 plays, we missed, I think Cornelius McCoy right down the middle on an overthrow. There was more like a flag route on the sideline, an overthrow. And then we just couldn't capitalize. And we've got to understand, everything's not going to go right every single minute of the game. It's just life. It doesn't happen like that. We got to make sure we keep our heads up, and we got to keep playing and keep fighting and playing sound football. We couldn't do that for 4 quarters. We certainly couldn't do that for 4 quarters.
Any other questions for Coach, or we'll let them get headed to the airport to get back to Atlanta?
Hey, Coach. Go ahead, Ty.
I was just going to ask, you were talking about just the need to search with the team and maybe find what's been missing these first couple of games and looking for that mentality change. So is that just something you think guys are going to have come to on their own, or is that something you're going to be looking for maybe your captains, your leaders, the team to start trying to get that out of the rest of the guys?
I think we do have good leadership. And I told them good leadership is something that needs to come to the forefront of our football team very, very quickly. There's got to be some brutal honesty with those leaders and those followers in there. Like I said, I hate to say it, but they were a bunch of fat cats. They front runners, and we're all in this. We're all in this, and we've got to understand that like I said, our first two contests are embarrassing. I mean, they are embarrassing. So it's something we've got to search. We got to search for, and we've got to find an answer very, very quickly from our leaders, from myself, from our coaching staff, to those followers as well. We're all in this together. We've got work to do.
When you look back at that 17 play, 75 drive in the second quarter, there were obviously a lot went wrong tonight. But what did you like from that particular drive?
I didn't even know it was 17 plays, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive drive. It's hard for me to go back and think about everything during the course
That's
of the
why
game.
we're here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But anytime you can take a possession and go 17 plays and drive the length of the football field, then that tells you have a consistent probably push up front from your offensive line. And I think in that drive right there, we handled the line of scrimmage pretty well. I think we were able to run the football effectively, and that gives us, manageable down and distances. And so during that drive, I think that's exactly what we did. We were able to punch it in and gain some momentum. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of things that happened in the course of that game, and a lot of good things that we did as well. We just couldn't consistently keep it up for full course.